Good morning. Today we're going to be testing some of the different common ionic salts that are different poisons. We have 6 different ones we're testing today. We're going to test barium chloride, sodium chloride, potassium chloride, calcium chloride, strontium chloride, and lithium chloride. Then we're going to test the unknown that was found in the sugar bowl in Annabelle Smith's home. So we're going to be testing them with our Gaveston antacid. So inside this antacid, it's an over-the-counter medicine, and it has some seaweed particles in it, and we'll see how that sodium algitate reacts with some of the different poisons. So the first one we're going to try right now is barium chloride. So we have our test tube is half full, and we just need a few drops. So see, it's relatively clear, little cloudy white color. So let's add our drops and see what happens. So even adding 1 drop, here's 2 drops of our antacid on darker background. So if you guys can see, there's some beading. There's a little white bead here at the bottom, and there's a bead of it here at the top. It's like clumped together here. That's our barium chloride. Now let's try and see what happens with our sodium chloride. So we're going to take it and we're going to take our test tube and fill it about halfway, which is about 2 pipettes full. So 2 pipettes is our test tube is full. And then let's add a drop and see. Oops, that was a large drop. And we can swish it around. I got some on the side of the test tube here. So you can see this one's more separated, not mixed in here. It's like a more cloudy color, but no chunks in this, or no little gelatin from our sodium chloride. Next, we are going to be testing potassium chloride. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to fill our test tube about halfway with our potassium chloride. And potassium chloride is group 1 and group 7. So KCl is the ionic compound formula. So here's our potassium chloride. And we're going to add a drop. It didn't make it in. So we'll put our dropper a little closer. That one, trial and error here. So as we mix it in, there seems to be a similar reaction like our sodium chloride had. This is our potassium, this is our sodium chloride. So similar reactions. Both of those ones are group 1 metals. So now we are going to try calcium chloride. Calcium is group 2, so it's a +2 ion. Chlorine, again group 7, Cl -1. So we're going to fill this one about halfway, and this is a little bit smaller test tube here. And then we're going to take our pipette and put it in a little bit closer. There we go. And add our drop. And this one, similar to our first one, formed a solid. Let's see if we can get a darker background to see. So we look on the dark green background. Here's the solid that has formed, or more like gelatin. And this is our first substance with the barium chloride. The bead at the bottom. So barium and calcium both have a bead that has appeared. Our next one that we have is going to be lithium chloride. So we're going to take the lithium chloride and we're going to fill our test tube halfway. We're going to add a drop of our antacid. Go a little closer. This one kind of just sunk to the bottom. Stir it around a little bit, see if it moves at all. Didn't form a gelatin. Mixed in some, but it just kind of sunk to the bottom here. And that might be because of the slightly smaller test tube. All right, next we have strontium chloride. Sorry, guys. All right, strontium chloride is in group 2, as well as calcium, so it's going to be a +2 ion. We're going to add a drop of our antacid to our strontium chloride, and this one has beaded up like calcium and barium have. So it's like a little pearl bead. I'll show the background here. That's our strontium chloride, and its reaction that it's having with those +2 ions. All of these have in common a chloride ion, but they have different metal ions. So those are our results for our first knowns, +2 and +1 ions, alkali metals and alkaline earth metals. This one is our unknown. So we're going to see what was in Annabelle's apartment. Let's try it with a little bigger test tube here. Just to make sure we get some clear results. So halfway full, this is what was found in her sugar pot mixed with water, so in solution. So let's see what the reaction is. So we're going to move our pipette down. All right. Let's see. So we have, it's just turning into like a milky color. No pearl solid. So thinking about that, what do we think that might be? What was similar right now that what we looked at? So you'll write down your observations of what we just saw with each drop. And then on the second page, you want to look at the different results and describe your 2 different results. What happened with the group 1 ions? What happened with group 2 ions for our metals? Since they all had sodium, or they all had chloride, chloride is a constant. That wasn't something that changed. What changed was our metal that was part of the compounds. Then we want to know if it reacted, what type of ion is shared by the common ones. So what type of ion do they share? The ones that reacted or did not react. So which ones did react and what do they have in common? And then if something didn't react with our Gaviscon, which one was it that did not have a reaction and just kind of mixed together? Third, so we know from our previous labs that the mixture in the sugar bowl contained a covalent compound like sugar and an unidentified ionic compound. So what results did we observe from our previous lab that indicated an ionic substance? So look back at the lab from last week. What made it ionic? What properties? So polar covalent properties, dissolve in water, they have no conductivity, they have a low melting point. So what did our unknown A have in it that made it ionic? Those are our polar covalent, but what were the ionic features of it? And then after today's lab, what do you know about the unidentified ionic compound in the sugar bowl? So based on the reactions of our knowns, barium chloride, sodium, potassium, calcium, strontium, lithium, based on these, what do you think would be in the sugar bowl, and explain why? So what do you think was similar to our unknown? And that might be something that was in our sugar bowl, something similar to that, to our knowns. That might give us a hint as to what the metal was inside of the ionic compound.